RTD recently celebrated 10 years of the W Line service, which runs from Union Station to the Jeffco Government Center in Golden. A lot of fanfare, high expectations back in 2013, but reality really hasn't lived up to the high hopes. The 12-mile line was the first step in the program known as FasTracks. Advocates hope it would tie the Front Range together with 120 miles of light rail lines. They hoped it would alleviate traffic congestion, lower greenhouse gas emissions, and improve transportation accessibility. But ridership lags behind. Traffic is still bad, and air pollution has only gotten worse.
Well, you're full of good news.
As I was reading it, going, ooh.
So we want to talk about the W Line, and we have with us today again Chris Rourke, the managing editor of the Denver Business Journal. And the W Line was in the news this year, but only for that derailment at the end of the line that took it offline for a while.
Yeah, and it's just now getting back to running its route. So, I mean, RTD has always been in the headlines, and FasTracks especially, since the voters approved it, the tax that pays for it in 2004. Is always in headlines for different reasons. Over the course of, the W Line 10 years, it's a great comparison to look at metrics. How successful is this program, and what does the future look like?
So this line in particular, the people that are using it are not using it in the way that I think RTD had hoped, right? People, commuters going to and from work and just saying, hey, I don't want to deal with traffic.
I think that's very true, and I think RTD has spoken to that. The original estimates were they were going to have, on the average, 20,000 riders a day. The peak before the pandemic, we're talking before the pandemic,
right,
was only 13,000.
Oh.
Post-pandemic right now, it's around 9,000. And there really isn't a big commuter base there. It's people going to sporting events and going to the entertainment district, and students from our area, taking that route.
How do you convince people to take it? I mean, what is it? What would convince more people to get on the line? If you're RTD, do you just have this and this is what's going to be, or do you have to get better at it, if you will?
Tom, that's the golden question. I wish I had solutions. RTD is looking at lowering fares. Maybe that can get ridership up, allowing youth to ride for free. They did the free fare in August. I believe they're going to do that again just to build that confidence in the system. When you talk about delays, they've had shortages in staffing.
That's a big problem.
Yeah, and the delays.
Then it went offline, and then you have issues and then security issues and other things. They've had a lot of things that haven't been good.
Sure.
They've been in the news, sadly, for some of these security issues alone.
Yeah, I think the CEO, Deborah Johnson, I sat and read the budget last night. That's how I spend
Good time.
Yes,
Good
Wednesday
time,
night.
yeah.
And I read her, opening letter. They're counting on revenues going up, taxes going up. That will be able to fund future projects. Right now, we have an uncompleted Beeline, Boulder to Longmont, and now they're projecting they won't finish that until 2050. Think how much tax revenue has been collected, and there's some people that have been paying into the system that may never get to enjoy that line.
You and I grew up in a town where mass transit's a big part of the deal, back
Yes.
in New York, and you go to some of these cities. The older cities tend to have more mass transit that is more functional. It was built as the cities grew. But one thing that they provided, I thought was very important, was express service. Mm-hmm. And every now and then, if you get on RTD and you're trying to get from down in Lone Tree up into town, you're going to make
A bunch
53
of
stops.
Right.
And if you had a service, it's tough with only one line, one rail going, but I think that might be something to look at too.
We'll see where it goes. I mean, they have a lot to do. 75% of the projects that they had promised have been finished. However, 100% of the projects were supposed to be finished years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually when we introduce a story about RTD, that we oftentimes will drop the word troubled in there. So this is another troubling situation for them, specific to the W Line and its 10th anniversary.
Yeah, they've restructured some debt. They're making moves in a positive manner, so we'll see where things go.
Chris Rourke, the managing editor of the Denver Business Journal. Always good to see you.
Thanks.